ABC News' Jim Ryan has been covering the story nationally for ABC News. Jim Ryan, welcome back, KTRS here in St. Louis.
Thanks, McGraw.
I heard you earlier this morning. You heard gunshots last night.
Yeah, I did. Around 10 o'clock or so, some shots fired, a couple of series of gunshots that seemed to come off from the distance out in the neighborhoods around this area. And, I mean, the street demonstration continued. I think a lot of people probably didn't even hear them right there on the street itself because of music, chanting, and people sort of carrying on. And certainly there was not the kind of police response that you might have expected here. The demonstration went on, and it went on fairly peacefully.
How many people do you think were there? I know it's sort of hard, but on that sort of main strip, and I guess that Quick Trip has become sort of the gathering area. How many people do you think were out and about?
I think it was much larger than the night before, maybe upwards of 1,000 people. I think that, it was easily 500-600 and maybe more than that at times. But you're right, it's hard to count people who are moving around and in a large group that spans a full block. But I would say that about 1,000 is a good guess.
Yeah. Lots of people are saying that it was a kindler, gentler police force. No tanks, no SWAT team. But were there any police out there?
Sure. Yeah, and in fact, some St. Louis police. There was a major from the department, Ronnie Robinson, who was kind of strolling around in the crowd and talking with people. And that's sort of the approach that was taken. He was in his regular uniform. There were not officers in SWAT uniforms, as you saw the night before. And it was mainly, you also did see the head of the Missouri Highway Patrol early on kind of marching down the street with the protesters. So, certainly a different approach, different tactic, different leadership. As you heard yesterday, the governor essentially moved the security function away from the county police in leadership over to the State Highway Patrol. And whether it was that or this change of tactic last night, the lower profile of the police, something seemed to work at least to keep it peaceful.
Yeah. We hear it was much more peaceful, but you can't be everywhere. We're hearing some reports that a number of patrol cars were damaged. Have you heard anything about that?
There was one police car, and I don't know why, but the car came down the street right here on Florissant Avenue, right through the crowd, which had already gathered, and it was pelted with water bottles. And I don't know if the car was damaged, but that was the one little kind of skirmish, if you want to call it that. It lasted maybe 5 minutes, and then the police car turned back around and went back the other direction on Florissant.
Yeah. There was some reports of a cameraman from Kansas City that was beat up or an assault or two on the street. Have you heard anything about that?
I did not see or hear that. I'd be interested to find out about that.
Yeah, and then in the Post-Dispatch this morning, there's a quote from the new Black Panther movement that said something along the lines of, if the police are going to stay away, somebody has to direct traffic. Were the Black Panthers directing traffic last night?
They were. They were directing traffic in their black uniforms and berets, and it was sort of a self-policing kind of thing out here. Yes, there were police officers moving through the area, but essentially their function was just to kind of keep an eye on the crowd and to monitor the situation. But so the crowd itself kind of gathered up and kept traffic flowing. It was flowing slowly, and it was kind of a cruising situation. People would drive through, turn around, and come back the other direction and repeat that process, kind of a parade. But traffic was flowing through here. Black Panther members and others were directing the traffic.
Yeah. How do we know? We understand that they're protesting police brutality. Is there a leader emerging? Is there a story emerging? I guess what I'm trying to figure out is there anybody leading this sort of new movement, if you will?
No, I don't think so. Not from the demonstrators' point. You're right. I mean, the Black Panther Party was here yesterday at the police station holding a rally and then coming out here last night. The members of the Nation of Islam as well. But I really don't think there are any real leaders of the group at all. This seems sort of spontaneous. Maybe the word gets around on Twitter or Facebook that these demonstrations are going to happen, and people just kind of show up spontaneously.
Any idea how long these protests might go on?
I think your guess is better than mine, McGraw. You know the area, you know the community, and it could be some time. I suspect that there will be people out here again tonight. Later today, the police chief will make public the name of the officer who was involved in the shooting last week. That officer and his family have already been moved in an abundance of caution out of concern for their safety.
Yeah. Jim Ryan, ABC News, covering the story nationally for everybody. Jim, thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks, McGraw.
You got to be safe. 625 here, Big 550.